Hi there, my name's Beth, and today I have a super exciting video. I'm going to be doing a duology review of the Reboot duology by Tintera. These two lovely books right here. So we have Reboot, which is the first one, and then Rebel, which is the sequel. And these two books right here make a whole story. It's so good. I read Reboot in August, I want to say, and then I just finished Rebel a few days ago. So these books are spread out a bit, but they are so good, and I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. However, if you have not read the books, or if you read Reboot but haven't read Rebel, I will start off talking about Reboot, and then I will hold up Rebel when I'm going to start talking about that one, and then you can click off or just mute it or whatever. But yeah, so I'm going to try to keep this short, sweet, and spoiler-free as much as possible, but I can't promise anything. So, Reboot is the first book, and this is the book where we meet Ren. Yes, Ren Connolly. And Ren Connolly is 17 years old, and she is a reboot. Not only is she a reboot, but she is also the fastest, strongest, and best reboot in the whole facility that she is in. And in this world, Hark is the government, so to speak, where they collect these reboots and keep them in the facility, and they train them to go capture other reboots for them. So, a reboot, you guys are probably thinking, what's a reboot? A reboot is someone who dies when they're young, or, well, adults can be reboots, but in this world it mainly focuses on kids between roughly 12 and 18. This is the main focus. I know that in this world there are a lot of young kids who die and reboot, and then older people who die and reboot as well. So, just for this, I'm sticking with the 12 to 18-year-old who die and then come back to life, and however many minutes you're dead, that's how, your number in the reboot, and the longer you're dead, the less human you are when you reboot. So it's kind of like a take on zombies, and it's really action-packed. It's so good. The main premise in the first one is, this is where spoilers might come in. So the main premise in the first one is we see Ren, and she is just living her normal life there. She is at 178, meaning she is basically not human at all. So in the book, they make a point to say that she can't cry. That's how unhuman she is. So she is one of the strongest, fastest reboots out there, and she has been in this heart facility for 5 years now. She rebooted when she was 12. She has scars all across her chest from where she was shot, and she's very self-conscious about that. So, in a way, there are points where Ren, you definitely see her as a human, even though she's not supposed to be one. There are human qualities to her, which I think is awesome because it makes her highly relatable, and it makes this story just so much more interesting. A little depth parts to this story. So she goes in to pick someone to train, and in walks Callum, who is only at 22, meaning he is still basically a human compared to Ren. So he is also 17 years old, but he has only been a reboot for a few weeks now. She chooses to train Callum after him basically begging her, and obviously there is going to be a romance between them because that's how young adult works. There is a romance between the two main characters. But the way they portray this romance between Callum and Ren is very, it's not just star-crossed lovers. It's more like Callum and Ren are like, he brings out the best of her, and she is helping him to be a stronger Reboot. So near the end of this book, Callum and Ren just can't take living in this heart facility anymore, and they get a couple of the security guards who are human to help them, but on the condition that if they escape, then the one's security guard, they'll find his daughter and basically get her in contact with him. So that's basically where the story leaves off in Reboot, where Ren and Callum have escaped, and they find the daughter, they meet up, and then they go off to find this Reboot territory. And that's where this story stops. So I think that Amy Tintera was brilliant in stopping the story where she did, because it's like, well, what happens next? And that's how I ended up buying Rebel. So Rebel starts off exactly where Reboot ends. It's the exact same sentence. It's so beautifully written. And this is the story of them in the Reboot territory. So in the territory, they meet a new Reboot who thinks he's the king of all the Reboots in this territory because he's being allowed to be the leader. But Ren, being a 178, is like, this guy is so impressed with her because she's such a higher number that he basically immediately is like, you're gonna come do everything with me and ignore Callum. Where Callum and Ren are so inseparable at this point that, like, they've lived through everything at this point, and they're 17. I couldn't handle that. So the new Reboot territory is very, very, like, you do what you want, but you do still have rules. So in a way, it's not really like they escaped completely from Hark. And then also, the new Reboot territory people are planning on basically destroying all human life so that no one else has to reboot. There's a lot of little bitty things in this book that show, like, the negatives of society. And I think this book, even though it might not supposed to have a deeper message like that, I think that Amy Tintera, like, wrote it so that you get from it what you will, type of thing. I don't know, I've never met her or anything like that, but just personal, like, reasoning with this, I do believe it's like, even on your own, you're still gonna, I don't know, even like, if all of society didn't have a government, you'd still try to create what you want, so it's like having a higher power or being the higher power. So yeah, I'm not going to tell you how this one ends because it is so good, and this duology is definitely worth the read. I gave both of these books 5 stars, I believe, or it was 4.5 and 5 stars. I definitely gave Rebel 5 stars because it was so worth it. And yeah, so it's so action-packed. It is an amazing journey, and the growth between Callum and Ren, the growth individually, the growth, like, these 17-year-old kids are saving the world type of thing. But yeah, so you do find out, like, the entire ending. There is a conclusion, so it's not like it could be turned into a trilogy. And I actually really liked the duology. It gives more information than just a standalone, but it's also not like you have to read 3 books to find out how this story ends, when it can oh so nicely be wrapped up into 2. So yeah, if you have read either of these books, or if you've stuck it out with me this long, first of all, you're awesome. Second of all, if you have read both of these books, let me know what your thoughts are down below. And if you'd like to see any other reviews of books that I read, let me know, because these are super easy and super fun, and I love watching review videos when I've read the books, so yeah. Or if you have any books like you want me to review, let me know and I'll pick it up and read it. So yeah. So until next time, that's all I have for today's video. These beautiful books that match oh so nicely on the spines as well. But until next time, have a great day or night, and until I talk to you again soon, bye-bye!